Konnichiwa, friends! Welcome to the Holly Lolly channel, and today I want to ask you a question right off the bat. Tell me, what are you willing to do to look more attractive? Because Japanese and other Asians are willing to do a lot of things, sometimes even scary and dangerous things, which I'm going to tell you about now. Let's talk about what beauty means for the Japanese and the terrible consequences that can await if you constantly chase the ideal. Light skin is the main condition of Japanese beauty. It is a light, porcelain shade of skin that plays a key role in the whole image of the Japanese. And even if a person was not naturally gifted with some special beauty or expressive facial features, if they have snow white skin, then all the shortcomings will fade into the background. Why is that? Actually, since ancient times, peasants who worked hard in the fields and spent long hours under the sun developed a swarthy, tan skin tone. And people from high society, who constantly walked under an umbrella and did not work in the fields, had a white porcelain skin tone. So nowadays, if a Japanese person has a prestigious office job, they are constantly sitting and working, which means they have a good salary. Under such conditions, they cannot tan. That is why, even now, white porcelain skin is a sign of the upper class, upper society, and is still very much appreciated among the Japanese. In any series of cosmetics, you will find skin whitening products. From mass market to luxury, the Japanese use sunscreens and gels all year round, especially in the summer. Everyone buys long gloves, tights with SPF filters, and girls carry umbrellas. On the beaches, they wear balaclavas and always wear closed swimsuits. If you observe Japanese women in the summer, you might see only their eyes visible. They hide under all possible means and fabrics just to avoid tanning. And when Japanese women find out that our girls go to tanning salons, they mentally just faint. Ideal facial features, according to the Japanese, are very different from our standards. Baby face is in fashion here. The less sharp angles, the better, and the Japanese are afraid of wrinkles as if they were fire. Japanese women love contrasts. They like small faces and big heads. Anime and manga clearly influence this trend. Japanese women use all sorts of techniques to reduce the contours of the face and make the head appear larger. Among the popular methods are a special tape to contour the face used in makeup and a special bandage to shape the cheekbones and chin. For even more contrast, it is very common to have big voluminous hairstyles to make the head appear larger and the face smaller. If a Japanese person tells you that you have a very small face and a very large head, don't be surprised and especially don't take offense. It's meant as a compliment. Well, now I'd like to share a rather creepy story about how societal influence and beauty standards can ruin a person's life. This is a true story about a Korean woman, An Hae-kyung, who became addicted to beauty injections. This addiction almost became her death sentence. The girl was born in 1962 in South Korea. You know, it should be noted that she was extremely beautiful and always attracted people. Besides her looks, she had a beautiful singing voice. Hae-kyung realized that her appearance combined with her voice could be her golden ticket to a good life. In the 90s, the entire music industry of Asia was mainly developed in Japan, so she decided to build her career there. In Tokyo, she successfully recorded her first solo album, but, of course, wild popularity and raving fame were still far off. Fans admired her beauty and called her the Asian Brooke Shields due to her resemblance to the Western celebrity. At first, Hae-kyung was delighted by the constant compliments received every day, but soon she realized they all related solely to her appearance. So she wanted to become even more beautiful. It should be noted that by this time, she was around 30 years old and worried a lot about age-related changes that began to happen to her. What would happen if she got wrinkles? What would become of the fans' love if she wasn't as beautiful as before? All of these thoughts led the girl to a plastic surgeon. He recommended Botox injections as he believed she didn't need plastic surgery. Hae-kyung got her first Botox injections and, a week later, returned to the same specialist for more to become even more beautiful. The specialist explained that Botox shouldn't be injected so frequently, but the girl was unstoppable. She found another, unlicensed beautician who agreed to do all the procedures that Korean woman wanted. As a result, she began spending all her hard-earned money on these so-called improvements. Eventually, her money ran out, and her new beautician recommended a new, much cheaper preparation which was still in the testing phase. Hae-kyung agreed without hesitation. After a few treatments, Hae-kyung's face began to swell severely. Fans grew concerned and suspected her of frequent visits to a beautician or plastic surgeon, but she denied any interventions. Meanwhile, the girl's career was declining, forcing her to return to South Korea. She couldn't afford the cosmetic treatments anymore and suffered greatly, believing she was only beautiful with regular injections in her face. That's when Hae-kyung decided to take extreme measures. One evening, Hae-kyung applied moisturizer to her face and wondered what would happen if she injected it under her skin. It's moisturizing, so the effect would be deeper, she thought. So, she did. It wasn't hard for her since she had seen beauticians do it many times, and from then on, she began to think about what else she could inject under her face to make her look better and more beautiful. Next was soy kitchen oil, but even that wasn't enough for the singer. The singer thought she needed something long-lasting to make the effect last as long as possible, and then she found silicone sealant, which is used in construction and cement. If you think that injecting cement into your face is impossible, Haekyung proved otherwise. This is what she looked like after all her self-administered procedures. This is a very frightening example of how beauty standards can impact a person's mind. You know, it's amazing that after all these experiments, she survived it all. Fortunately, none of the substances got into her bloodstream. But even after corrective plastic surgery that Haekyung decided to have, her face could never return to its original state. Please share your thoughts in the comments. And to be honest, I was horrified by what I saw and the realization of what a person is willing to do to meet certain standards, to be loved very much, to be almost worshipped or something. I sincerely feel very sorry for this girl. Now let's discuss what constitutes the ideal figure of Japanese beauty. Asians are deeply focused on slimness. Japanese women vigorously combat excess weight, seeing it as both unhealthy and aesthetically undesirable. Most of the Japanese have a slender physique, and spotting a fuller figure among them, you know, is quite rare. But, as they say, perfection knows no bounds, and Japanese women try to shed extra centimeters, sometimes where they aren't even necessarily extra. Many around the world often find the buttocks the sexiest part of a woman's body, with people hitting gyms and fitness centers to work out to firm and enhance them. But not Japanese women. Japanese women prefer their buttocks to be as flat as possible. They believe that large thighs look unattractive and suggest excess weight. This obsession with a slim figure in Asia has led to some troubling trends, causing not only Asian girls but also girls worldwide to feel insecure. This issue is particularly critical for teenagers, whose mental resilience is still developing. For example, a few years ago a challenge emerged known as the A4 sheet challenge. So, what's the deal with this challenge? Let me demonstrate. The idea is to take a photo holding an A4 sheet vertically against your waist. If the sheet completely covers your waist, then you're considered thin enough. But if the sheet doesn't fully cover your waist, like mine, you see, then it's implied you should lock up your fridge. It's become a marker of what a slim Asian girl should strive for. Look what a tiny waist it should be. My waist measures 64 centimeters. What I see in the mirror versus what the camera captures can be quite different, but my sides do protrude a bit from under the sheet. What's the problem with this challenge? It pressures girls, especially teenagers, to restrict their eating, obsess over their figure, and strive for extreme thinness. It's such a widespread trend. I don't want to call it with the wrong words. What are your thoughts on this? Share them below. Or, for example, there's another Asian slimness test. You take a lipstick and place it on your collarbone, and your collarbone should be so strongly protruding to be enough for the lipstick to stay put and not roll off. Personally, I can't do it, though I consider myself slim overall, but perhaps not by Asian standards and parameters, because I failed both lipstick and an A4 sheet tests. But you know, I think that all such trends should be banned if they endanger anyone's health. They seem like mass hysteria to me. We are chasing standards without understanding, without realizing the harm they can cause. I'm in favor of those challenges that uplift our spirits, that don't harm anyone, that can somehow stimulate our minds positively. But I'm against those that make us feel inadequate or inferior. Oddly enough, in Japan it is still considered very cute to be clubfoot. What we are surprised about is the pinnacle of kawaii to the Japanese. The most kawaii girls often appear clubfoot, thus bringing their image closer to the image of a doll or a teenage girl. And another new and modern trend is crooked teeth. Can you believe it? No, of course, I have nothing against someone having crooked teeth. I used to have crooked teeth too, but I wore braces to fix them. If someone is comfortable with that, that's fine. But what really surprises me is that some Japanese people are willing to make their straight teeth crooked. They also often file their fangs to make their smile look like a vampire's. Dear girls and boys, I want to tell you that no matter how cliché it may sound, we are all absolutely beautiful, and we all have our own unique charm. First and foremost, you need to love yourself, because no matter how hard you try to meet someone's beauty standards, there will always be critics. There will always be people who don't like something about you, even if it's perfect. There will always be people who will tell you that something is wrong with you. That's why you should have your own opinion, appreciate, and love yourself, which is what I wish for you. Friends, a huge arigato to everyone for watching. Please write comments, watch, give a like, and see you in new videos. Bye bye!